Welcome on the AM News Belt. Let's settle for our first story now. Former Secretary to the Interministerial Committee on Illegal Mining, Charles Bissue, says he will turn himself in. It's been barely 6 hours since the special prosecutor officially declared him wanted. Mr. Bissue will turn himself in, but is resolved to fight, declaring his innocence and insisting he is not on the run.
I'm surprised. However, I have not gone AWOL. I'm still in the country. I work in the Western region. As we speak, I'm on route to Accra. I will attend the Special Prosecutor's Office. But, you know, in any case, I mean, you know, previously I had been invited to the various investigative agencies, as the NIB, which I visited on 2 occasions, the CID, the National Security, pertaining to this Galamsey problems. The OSP's office itself, I've also been there, I think, twice. So it's not like I am actually running away from attending a meeting at the OSP's office. I asked for time to attend, and I think there was a misunderstanding. I actually abide by the laws of this country, and so I don't think, defying the creature of our constitution or the laws of Ghana is the best thing. I've been law-abiding, and so basically I haven't gone missing. I'm in the country. I was in the Western region, so I will attend. And I think that when I attend this, I think it would be further even redeem my image, because we know that for the past 4 or 5 years, with this Galamsey menace, we've been going back and forth where a lot has happened. So I think this is also an opportunity for me to further redeem myself, because, as I said, I've been to various regulatory or investigative agencies, and I've actually given them statements. So I do not know what the special prosecutor is going to ask me, but I've always been consistent, and I think that the consistency with which I've actually churned out or given information to help them in their investigation would be the same at the OSP's office.
What do you think may have accounted for this? Because obviously the OSP may not just move out and publish this in the media looking for you.
Well, they wrote to me, I think a few weeks ago, and I got my lawyers to write back to say that I was actually not indisposed, and that they should give me a few days, and they said they were not going to agree to that pressure coming on a certain date, which I couldn't because I wasn't feeling well. And then I said that later on I heard of an arrest warrant, and then now we have this coming up. But I think all said and done, we're all working in the interest of the country. Once I attend the interview, and then I think we'll come to a conclusion that Ghana must move forward.
Well, a flag-bearer aspirant of the New Patriotic Party, Allen, has called on government to review the current exchange rate regime at the country's ports to boost the productivity of the private sector and to help reduce inflation. Now,
if for one reason or the other your currency is depreciating, and you know that you have a highly import-dependent economy, in my very humble opinion, it doesn't make sense for you to apply the same exchange rate at which imports and the duty on imports are calculated. That means that just as soon as you find that the exchange rate is going down or high, those who import, and which includes not only traders but also manufacturers, it means that they also have to bear the brunt of the depreciating exchange rate. But if for purposes of imports you can fix a lower exchange rate, then in actual fact you are making imports cheaper. Not necessarily to destabilize trading, but the traders will tell you that, of course, if imports are cheaper, they are more inclined to pay their duty and also more inclined to pass it on to the general public. Government, number 4, government will intervene to target directly key supply cost drivers of inflation, especially food prices. Those of you who know how we calculate inflation in this country. It's a basket of goods particularly dominated by food, which really is the key determinant factor for inflation. And that is why government has to intervene to directly target some of these supply cost drivers, particularly in respect of food prices. Government will take measures to boost food production and improve the supply chain from production to transportation to storage to preservation and to marketing. Because all these processes add costs to food prices, and that is what fuels inflation. And when government does this, it will reduce the weight and contribution of food prices on inflation. Number 5, government will create a parallel system of food storage and distribution to mitigate the effects of seasonal food shortages and excessive profiteering by food sellers. 2, government will ensure strict maintenance of fiscal discipline to reduce the borrowing burden of the state. Because if you cut your, how do you say it? You cut your coat according to the size of your cloth, then, and you introduce fiscal discipline, then you will not run into a situation where you always have to borrow to finance your deficits. Limited state participation in the market will improve liquidity circulation at reasonable rates, which will put and push interest rates down. Government would ensure that BOG lends about 15 to 20% of the bank's cash reserve ratio, which is the CRR, at concessionary rates to targeted businesses with self-liquidating transactions to be executed through banks and other special vehicles. The import of all this is that you cannot borrow at 35% and be able to compete, not even under the AFTA framework. So whether we like it or not, we need some shock therapy to bring down interest rates. If we use our current policy of, I would say, tweaking with the Bank of Ghana policy rate, it will never come down. And so this kind of shock therapy, the kinds of things that we are talking about, should be able to bring down the policy rate to about 5% or 6%. And then obviously you start getting into single-digit interest rates. Otherwise, I'm afraid that we cannot make our private sector competitive.
Now, residents in the Munkose electoral area here in Accra are on a collision course with the Accra Metropolitan Assembly officials over claims that the desilting of drains was done by the AMA and not through individual contributions. The residents say they were levied 300 Ghana cedis by the Assembly towards the desilting of the drains. Here's Jacqueline and Sumaya Boa's report.
The Minister for Local Government, Decentralization and Rural Development, Dan Boche, is currently touring various assemblies who have been allocated funds for the Garrid project to prevent floods. Residents in the Munkose electoral area are in a tussle with the Accra Metropolitan officials over claims that the silting of drains was done by the individuals in the community rather than the Accra Metropolitan Assembly. We did our own thing. We desilted it ourselves not long ago. It cost us 300 Ghana cedis. So nobody has done anything for us.
It wasn't the AMA officials that desilted the gutters. Oh wow.
We were the ones who desilted it ourselves, and they took 300 Ghana cedis from us.
What did you do it? When was that? But was it recently?
2 months ago, I said, 2 months ago.
What you can see here was done last week. It was just last week that we took all these stuff out from the gutters. Meanwhile, the Director of Planning at the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, Richard Odro, has refuted these claims. He says that proper investigations will be done to probe further into the issue.
I don't believe what he said, because already undergarment funds have been released for us to do the decision works. So it's neither here. What he's saying can be true. It's an allegation. We just have to investigate. But I won't be surprised, because from time to time you have residents and individuals who will organize certain individuals or groups to do some private exercise for them. An allegation is a weight against the assembly member. Moving forward, well, it has come to our notice. So we'll forward this to management and then we'll do further investigation.
The minister revealed that Metropolitan and Municipal Assemblies officers who failed to see through the garage-related projects and other infrastructure projects to be done in the area will be sanctioned.
Yeah, you see, first, it was just said that it's a program for results. Okay. Assemblies that do well get their share of the funds. Those who don't do well, based on their percentage of performance, will reduce the mandate to go to the assembly. And that's why we are saying that will not be fair to the people. You have seen the work they are doing here. Let's assume you reduce what they are supposed to get back, say 100,000 Ghana cedis. It means that they won't do the decentralized they should do, or they will do only 1 kilometer and leave the rest. And what happens? When it rains, this woman you were talking to, they are the people who are going to suffer. So I'm saying that no, let's leave that. We are in touch with the local government service. Officers who give up their plan of action for the year and don't use the money as they should use it, or the timing of the operation that they should do, they don't do it. They will be sanctioned, but the community should not suffer because of that.
The minister is still touring various assemblies to ensure the funds have been properly used. For Joy News, Jacqueline Ansuma Yeboah.
In our next story, residents of Kuni in the Yendi municipality have described the rehabilitation of their CHIPS compound as a major boost to healthcare delivery in the area. They say they are encouraged to seek healthcare from the facility, unlike in the past when the hospital was in a dilapidated state. Northern Region's Martin Abugri now reports.
The CHIPS compound had the entire facility renovated and a tricycle ambulance refurbished. The partners also provided a mechanized borehole and connected to the facility. Speaking at the event, some women, Ruth Christopher and Amma Gideon, said it would encourage them to visit the hospital anytime they need to send their children for welfare clinic.
We was facing problem, water, everywhere water. When they call us for weighing, you have to go to river and fetch water and bring it. And students too, when they are going to school, the water that we manage in the house, they will fetch it and go to school again. But now, we can see that you save us a lot.
Go and climb the mountain and fetch the water 4 times in the morning. In the evening too, you can go 3 or 4. Before you can get water to make whatever you want to do. And if you come to our facility, when you are coming to weigh, they will ask you to bring water. When you refuse to bring water, when you come, the nurse will not weigh your child. At times, she will weigh her and collect the book down. Go and bring water before you get the book. Without water, you will not get your book. But now, we have seen that you have saved us.
The midwife for the Kuni CHIPS compound, Vivian Akaba, said the water provided will help control infection, whilst the renovation would encourage more people to visit the facility.
The same water animals drink, and people even urinate inside, others shit inside, but yet they bring that water for us to use. it was MCG or one man came here. He saw the state of the water and provided us with aqua taps. So it was the aqua tap that we're using, and then I think it was better for us in a way. But now that this water is here, I think everything, like when I go inside the living room and after delivering, I don't need to come out and say I'm washing my hand. I just need to use my elbow and then wash my hand, which too will prevent infections.
The Municipal Director for Health Service, Adja Ajara Haruna, said the renovation means a lot to the Health Service Directorate because they could not have afforded to do it.
For me, because we couldn't do this by ourselves, actually. And we used to always come, look at the thing, and then we say, oh, we wish we could have done something about it. Infrastructure-wise, it has to be done by the assembly, actually. We are told that every year they are supposed to give us 2 CHIPS compounds. But when it comes to renovation, it's also another thing. So I think it's all about the funding.
Executive Director of Water for West Africa, Ricky McWalter, said their mission is to care for those that are suffering in need for facilities like the clinic.
Our mission is to care for those that are suffering from the needs in facilities like this hospital. So we have come, and we are dedicated to the service because there's been so many people in the U.S., in the States, the United States, that have given their resources because they love you as well.
The Chief Executive Officer of Rural Water and Development Program Ghana, Nathaniel Adams Jr., on his part said, having worked with UNICEF on WASH, especially emergency response WASH during COVID-19, made them to appreciate the challenges rural communities face when it comes to health facilities.
Now, I worked with UNICEF over the last few years when COVID came, which is an emergency work, emergency response to WASH, has sent us more into health delivery, and we have to appreciate the challenges that health delivery in the system in Ghana face, especially in the CHIPS compounds and the hospitals in rural Ghana. And so once we came back to our home, which is Yendi, we decided that whatever we have done with UNICEF, we are going to continue with it as an organization alone.
Now, a nerve-wracking contest that left 6 schools on tenterhooks in the Upper West Regional Library. 4 schools have made the final cut to the National Championship. Queen of Peace SHS, Laura SHS, St. Francis Girls of Assisi, and Speaker of Parliament Alban Bagman's alma mater, WA SHS. They will join 2-time finalists St. Francis Xavier SHS to represent the region. Emmanuel Bright Kweku has more from WA on NSMQ.
I am 0 for Group 18 elements. I describe the attraction. Ignatius?
Electronegativity.
WA has also pressed.
Electron affinity.
And people don't understand why they pressed. And I am also not understanding why you pressed. They have 3 points.
And that was the scene at the WA Regional Library after WA SHS booked the last slot to the National Championship for the Upper West region.
WA denitrifying bacteria.
After 6 exciting nail-biting contests that left 6 winning schools in suspense, 4 schools booked slots at the national tournament with their untrodden runs. Queen of Peace SHS, who won their contest with an impressive 56 points, are coming into the national tournament with a spiritual backing.
God had already started preparing this particular season for us since from Form 1. So we are not afraid of any school. We are not afraid of the name of the the school. The name of the school doesn't matter to us. The number of achievements they've made doesn't matter. The Bible makes me understand from the book of 1 Samuel that David said that, and this congregation shall know that the Lord saves not by sword or by spear or by javelin, but that God is going to do that mighty wonders. But we go there in the name of the Lord, and with God we are never failures. We are never going to lose any.
Laura.
Taking the second slot, students of Laura SHS are promising a meltdown for any school that may cross their path.
That is correct.
When we get there, we will show them that we too, we are the best.
Hey, you show which people? I want to know which people you are talking about. Is it the Presec Lagos and the Prempeh? What message do you have for them?
No, they shouldn't underrate any school. We are prepared for them. We are going to sit down, work on our tactics, and prepare very well for them.
Yeah, we are going to melt them this year.
You are going to do what?
Melt them.
Melt them.
Yes. Anybody that comes on our way.
So are you some kind of heat or fire or something?
Oh, we are more than that. We are more than that. And now we will put a motto: if we meet any school, go home. That's the new motto.
We have Jesus in our lives. We live in.
Call them the daughters of the saints. St. Francis Girls of Assisi beat their all-time rivals Nandom SHS in a comeback, winning by a 4-point margin.
Before we started, the guys said they were going to use up and mop their floor. Now we have shown them, we have used them, and we haven't scrubbed their floor. It's actually an unexplainable experience because what the rest were saying, like it was some kind of beat. So we're planning, like the way I was waiting for us to win the contest and I'll go out and make fun of them. Actually, have you seen something? We don't talk much. We keep calm. After the contest, the end shall justify the means, and after that we shall shine, and we'll shine forever.
Back at the campus of the WA SHS, a resounding guard of honor was held for the contestants as the school made their second appearance at the national competition after 20 years. Teachers and students could not hide their excitement.
So sir, you are the headmaster for the school.
Yes.
How does it feel seeing your school qualify again?
In fact, I feel highly elated. It is going to be a do and die affair. We are going not to leave any stone unturned.
Exciting since How do you feel at the moment?
I feel so happy. This has been the second time my school qualified. In fact, no one can explain our happiness. We are going, the sky is not even our limit.
The fear is not in us, but we have the hope that this year the trophy is coming to us. It is coming to Great West Senior High this year.
Prempeh College, Presec Lagos, they've won it 7 times, Prempeh 5 times, and others. What message do you have for them? Should they be scared of you?
Oh yes, they have to be. The quiz itself is a game of chance, and we have set out to win. And West Senior High will forever win.
The school boasts of prominent old students, including Speaker of Parliament Alban Backben and Joy News's Rafiq Salam.
Excited, and I say congratulations to the boys who really made West Secondary School very proud. We are all proud of Wasek.
How did it feel when you realized some of the schools were coming closer?
I wasn't comfortable at all because especially when during the time of the true or false, but somehow along the line I knew that some of the schools actually were true or false schools.
From here in WA, my name is Emmanuel Bright-Kweku, and he is
reporting for Joy News. Rafiq Salam.
On that celebratory note, we cap off the news, but up next, the news review with Dr. Kwabena Allen. Do stay.